So I want to thank Sophia again and Creative Mornings for inviting me here, and I want to say hello to all the folks that are watching online. Is streaming happening right now live? Yeah? No. It just gets playback. Well, hello to the playback folks. So I'll talk a little bit about my journey, but then I really want to jump into the practice of movement. Last week, I went on a retreat at Dartmouth College. I was following some monastics from the Plum Village tradition of Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh. And I've been listening to their Dharma talks over the course of the last 10 years, but especially during the pandemic. So when I learned they were coming to the New England area, like a fangirl, like it was like Stevie Wonder coming for me, or Rihanna. I was like, how do I get tickets to see these monks and nuns? I need to go. So I went online to Dartmouth and spent the weekend with them, moving, meditating, listening to Dharma talks, mindfulness walking, and mindfulness eating. It was so rich and beautiful. And then I had an opportunity to speak with the sister of the event planner. And she was like, the monks are going to be at Harvard, the Harvard School of Public Health this week. And I'm like, what? How do I get tickets to that? So I'm following these monks around. And she says, look on the website and email and perhaps you'll get some tickets. So I did that. And what that event was, which was just this Wednesday, was the Harvard School of Public Health decided to open up a center for mindfulness in public health. It's called the Thich Nhat Hanh Center of Mindfulness in Public Health. And it was an inaugural celebration and symposium with doctors and scientists, leading doctors and scientists around the world, talking about the research behind mindfulness and really codifying it for us so that we can get it into these places where we need it: education, medicine, everyday life, really. And so my heart is full here. I stand here very full with a lot of hope for humanity, for us personally, and for our planet through mindfulness practices. Not just my own experience, but that there are folks out there that are studying this to say this really, really works. Things that have been studied, we've been doing ancient Buddhism for years and years and years, like it works. And so I want to bring some of my informal and formal practices to you today. And without going into my whole story, just share that I had to learn how to stop and slow down in order to start really living. And that for me is at the center of a mindfulness practice. So it wasn't by my own authority that I decided that I needed to stop and slow down. My body was like, you're done. And that was in 2013. And that's when I stopped performing as an artist and really started investigating, like, what is it like to be living on this planet in this body? I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything that I want to say here. So I did have some notes. Okay. So formal and informal practices. The formal practice became meditation and breathing work and yoga. And the informal practices for me became like, oh, I can take a deep breath here when I'm washing my dishes or when I wash my hands. Or I decided to join circus school recently, the last 2 years, as an amateur circus person, because I realized that learning how to do handstands and turning myself upside down was a way to slow me down, get me to stop, and to come into my body. And also being upside down changed my perspective of the world, right? It does. The inversions in yoga, how many of you practice yoga? So we know downward facing dog and shoulder stands and all of that, those inversions are great for circulation, but it also literally turns you upside down. And so that's what those practices look like for me today. So I try to meditate throughout my day, but then I have times when I'm on the mat and on the cushion, and then I have, handstands circus school, and then I have a mindfulness practice of breathing before I speak to a room full of strangers. That really is helpful. And so I want to share with you a practice from one of my teachers, and it's called the 7 Healing Animals. And it was passed down from her teacher, who the sequence came together after she had a meditation. So she's a Buddhist meditator, a dancer, and a movement person. And so she had this beautiful meditation. And so this sequence of animals came to her. And she passed it to my teacher, and my teacher passed it to me. And now I'm going to share it with you. So you will need to make some space. So if you're sitting close to somebody, maybe enough space to have your arms this. Yeah. Okay. So some of you are standing, that's great. If the rest of you feel good standing, wonderful. And I just would like to start with the invitation of widening your stance, hip width distance apart. You can spread your toes. See if you can spread your toes like in your shoes and your socks. An invitation to follow my voice and close your eyes, or you can lower them to a gaze. And so feeling grounded from the soles of your feet. And with each breath, feeling that groundedness come up through your legs, your back of your spine, your tummy, across your shoulders, your heart, out the crown of your head. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose here, and exhale. We'll do that 2 more times together. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, drawing the shoulders away from the ears, and exhale, grow tall, holding your spine with grace. And if eyes are closed, you can gently flicker them open. And you're going to turn your palms forward, so external rotation, shining your palms forward. This is the first animal. This is the giraffe. And the giraffe represents stillness. So imagine the giraffe, tall, long, able to gaze and look across and across and across and across and across. Still connected to the soles of your feet, still connected to your breath. The giraffe represents stillness. Now you're going to take a step and straddle, like goddess pose, if any of you are familiar with that pose. And you're going to bend your knees and you're going to open your arms. You might hear some snap, crackle, pops. That's okay. Just breathe into that. This represents the bear. The bear represents taking up space. How much space can you take up, right? We live in a world that emotionally, physically, just sometimes being on the TV, you're like trying to shrink your space. But in this bear, take up as much space as you can. Take a deep breath. Take up space in your body with the breath. Yeah. And on your next inhale, come and step back up to standing. You're going to sweep your arms above your head. Collapse your palms down, and then you're going to hinge at your hips. And we are representing the monkey here, so come on up again. The monkey represents playfulness, so you're like tickling the sky. And then collapse your palms down and hinge at the hips. Collecting the energy of the earth and the playful monkey, come on up, slowly rise. Extend your right hand out in front of you. Take a little bit of a step here. And you're going to feel what's out there for you. So this is the snake, feeling what is out there for you in the world. Opposite hand, same thing. What is it that you want to bring into your life, into your heart, into your space? We have choices, right? We don't have to take everything that is put in front of us. One more time, feel across your body, the snake. And last time, feeling, yeah. The second part of the snake is to fill. So whatever it is that you want out there, that you're like, this is for me, my heart, this is nourishment, you're going to fill it. So you have felt it, and now you're going to step out. You're going to scoop from the earth, raise it up to the sun, and fill it into your heart. Okay? And you're going to take the opposite side. So extending out the left arm, scooping from the earth, and bringing it to your heart space. Third part of the snake, purify, right? So like protecting that energy. Extending out with your right arm, scooping, bigger movement here, and purifying it into your heart. Nice. Other side. And purify. This brings us to our next animal. What happens when you have some like amazing news? What do you want to do? Celebrate. Yes. So the bird, celebrate. So it's kind of this warrior, for those of you who are practicing yogis, it's a warrior one stance. So that's where you're getting your stability. And you are flapping those wings. Yeah, broaden those wings, flying. The bird represents celebration. Take the opposite side. Celebrate on this side too. Remembering to breathe, feel that stability in the soles of your feet. And once you have celebrated in yourself, like, I got this, what do you want to do after that? You celebrated, like you got some good news. I got into this college, I'm going to do what? Call? Share? Yeah. Bees. Bees represent sharing, community, sharing the news, right? So each time we pass through our heart here, east, west, north, south, the bees represent celebration. Take it one more time, because that's what we're doing right now. We're in this beautiful community, in this practice, celebrating our mindfulness, our bodies, our breath. Last time. And come to stillness. Bring your left hand up, right hand down. So this is the only part of the sequence that's not an animal, but it represents the paradox. We are the paradox. We are the in-between, the heaven and the earth, right? Is it easy being in the paradox? Not always. All right, our brains are like, we're gonna make decisions, we're gonna make things right, I'm gonna figure this out. But in this sequence, the paradox is like, when you have those challenging moments, don't put it here, bring it here. So this is what it's like. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And then inhale. Exhale, hold it. Hold it in your heart. Yeah, feel what that's like. You might even be feeling your heartbeat right now. Sophia talked about the movement and the stillness, being aware of what's kind of going on in the inner world of your body. Taking some deep breaths here, holding it in the heart space. And now we're gonna move into our last animal here. Spread your legs. Warrior two legs. The white tiger and the cobra represents moving through the world with wisdom and action. It really does take that slowing down and stopping and investigating your inner world to be able to move through this world with wisdom and action. So this is the movement. And then we take the other side. Yeah. And then one more time. And last time, moving through the world with wisdom and action, come back to center, find your giraffe, feet hip width distance apart, palms are shining forward. We return back to giraffe, which represents stillness. We'll close this practice with 3 breaths. The first one will be like a clearing, inhale, exhale. And on the last 2, I'm going to invite you to hum, H-U-M-M, because voice also is in fact movement. All of the systems in the body have to work together to coordinate so that you can hear my voice coming out of my body. And humming is also great for circulation and anxiety, just feeling your own inner vibration, all right? So take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale. Breathe in and one more. Inhale. Return to your natural cycle of breath here. And when you start to move back to where you're seated mindfully, I have a prompt for you. And we'll take maybe 2 or 3 minutes to write. What animal resonated with you and why? Okay? All right. So I'll clarify the animals that we just practiced. The giraffe represents stillness. The bear represents creating space. The monkey, playfulness, so gathering the energy of the sun and the earth. The snake has 3 parts: feeling what's out there for you, filling it into your heart, and then purifying. The bird represents celebration. The bees represent sharing and community. The paradox, bringing those things that we cannot change into the heart. The white tiger and cobra, moving through the world with wisdom and action. And then returning back to giraffe, which represents stillness. So if you're comfortable in the pods that you're in, so there's kind of some groupings happening already, you'll take the next 5 minutes to share with each other what animals resonated with you and why. So have a conversation, right? Conversation is movement. So as my time is wrapping up, I do want to ask if there's any group or one person that wants to share out what the conversation was like or what you discovered for yourself. Is there an animal that's resonating with you now? If not, yes.
Bird, because I like the flowing movement, and the freedom.
Freedom of the bird, the celebration. Okay. Yes.
Oh, I was just going to comment in our group, it was interesting that some people chose things because of the meaning they made of it in the story, and some people chose it just because of how the movement very physically felt to them.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, I chose bear and bees because it's my growth edge right now is how I described it, because taking up space and public sharing of joy are just things that systems have taught me to suppress. And it's interesting now to discover, like, it's okay to do these things.
Isn't this something about embodying it actually that kind of lights things up, you know? So when I first started this practice about 10 years ago now, I was in giraffe for 5 years. I was like, I want to be another animal. But my body was like, no, this is where you are. You are really thirsty for stillness and what you can learn from standing still and slowing down. So, yeah. Anyone else? Yes.
First, I want to make an observation in our group that. First, I wanted to make an observation in our group. Oh, by the way, I'm Jim Pogue. That we felt that we might have picked different animals at different stages earlier in our life. The ones we were picking now is where we are now, which is what you just said. The one I picked up was giraffe. I thought the other animals, at least right now, were action for a moment, but the giraffe and stillness seemed a retreat that was always there when I needed.
Thank you, Jim. Anyone else?
For me, it was the paradox, where I am noticed just that action of pulling back into myself. I noticed that, like, wow, my attention has been out in the world trying to find out how to succeed from other people who have done it, but they're not me, and I'm the one who knows inside, like, how I should proceed forward and what I should do and how I should present myself. Like, all of those answers are already here. I don't need to go looking out to the world.
Can I say one more thing about giraffes?
In nonviolent communication, giraffes are the symbol of conflict resolution because they have the biggest hearts of all mammals, and their long necks allow them to have perspective on situations. So they are the symbol of empathy in nonviolent communication. Just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Yeah, that was good information. Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, thank you so much for being willing to go through this practice with me. Again, as I said, it was passed down, so it's an oral tradition. So if you want me to share it with you again while we're here, I'm happy to talk it through with you. But if there's something that is with you, resonates with you, carry it with you for a while. See what it's like to stay with that giraffe for a while, or for the bees, or the paradox, right? I think there's a lot of information in there for you.